The next item on this afternoon's agenda is an update from the Executive Director, Sandy Rich. Sandy?
Hey, Corinne, and I want to welcome new trustees. If I haven't gotten you your BERS pin or a copy of the Green Book Rethinking Investments, please let me know. It's a very good resource to trustees as they face investment decision making. We've got a packed agenda, and because we haven't met since May. And given administration transitions, our experiences, we may have difficulty getting quorum and having meetings early in the year. So this is a very important meeting. Thank you for attending. Some of the key things we're going to be doing tonight. Salil Mehta is going to be discussing changes in our investment policy statement that he has been working on with the consultants and the Bureau of Asset Management. These edited policies codify trustee preferences, administering their fiduciary duty. Salil will go through this later in the agenda. We are going to be asking for increased authority to the executive committee. The executive committee was formed at the end of the de Blasio administration because we were concerned about gaps in governance. We're proposing some additional authorities to support contract approvals, among other modifications, and you'll hear about that. The fiscal 2026 budget, that will come up on the agenda, but we're going to ask if anyone has questions. So the fiscal 2026 budget was presented in May at a May board meeting. We have had some pushback from OMB and the controller on the number of headcount we're getting. Just for anyone who hasn't, this is a one sentence summary of a rather complicated budget, which we have shared both the video of the presentation that Daniel and Chitra made and memos on that and the details of the budget. But what we proposed in May is as a result of an 82% increase in active membership resulting from the November 2024 implementation of New York State allowed auto enrollment for our system. That's an 82% increase in active membership. We requested in the fiscal 2026 budget a 42% increase in headcount and a 33% increase in dollars spent in fiscal 2026. I say that one additional thing. Adding 70 headcount, 42% is very significant. It wouldn't occur in 1 year, or it would likely be stretched over 2 years. So the chances are that our cash cost of the budget for fiscal 2026 would come well under the 33% increase. Let me say that we're still in conversations with OMB. The chairs of the board and our fiscal operations folks and Daniel Miller and I will be involved in those conversations in the next few days. We hope to approve the budget at the December board meeting, which remind me, Karen, is the 12th or the 11th? 12th, thank you. And when we get to that portion of the agenda, yeah, when we get to that portion of the agenda, it'll be an opportunity for anyone to ask any questions because it could change significantly over the next few days and we won't vote on it till December. You know, we'd probably like to avoid a detailed review of the budget. But if anyone has questions when we get to that item, when Corinne gets to that item in the agenda, we will entertain those. There's a significant contract we're asking the board to approve. It's for identification, confirmation, and verification services to support our member self-service systems. You know, this is a software that actually the federal government uses for Social Security and for tax verification of identity. It's called ID.me. We're contracting with them. It APIs directly into our systems that are supplied by Vitech, and it will help us regulate the transactions so that we don't have false individuals executing transactions. For those who were on the board, is anyone here on the board when we had our incident? There was an incident in 2021 where we had someone who represented themselves as a retiree. He and his accomplice got access to Social Security numbers, names, and identities of our retirees, and they stole $1.2 million from the system. New York City backstopped that. And I can tell you that we cooperated with the FBI and the local police. They caught them. One's already in jail. The other one is being prosecuted. And we may get some recovery in addition to the recovery we got earlier. So, but we have restricted access to people who actually physically showed up and presented themselves so we can identify them. This will help us get around that limitation and facilitate member services being a little bit more member friendly. Sorry, that was a little bit too much on ID.me, but I think that's important. Also, there was a distribution from our internal audits director, Aday. Aday distributed the Department of Financial Services audit report for Board of Ed Retirement System. They have asked that trustees review this report and sign off and acknowledge that they have reviewed it. This is a long document. I would suggest you begin with management's response to the report. There's a good summary of the report. There's a good summary of the recommendations, and there's a good summary of our responses. I would tell you that DFS was not particularly critical of BERS. Matter of fact, they held us up as one of the more advanced systems in the city because we do our own asset liability cash flow analysis that Salil Mehta does for us. I think that's enough for me. I would just finish my report with the suggestion that there are opportunities for trustee education that I would like you to consider. The National Association of Securities Professionals New York chapter has a cocktail reception on November 20th and an all-day conference on 11/21. Actually, I put together a private credit panel, and it's an opportunity to make sure that I don't say anything dopey. Corey Ed Plan Sponsor Education Institute is January 20 to 23. NYCBERS Legislative Conference, January 26 to 28. Communications and Member Service Summit by NYCBERS, March 2 through 4th. And NYCBERS Nationally Accredited Fiduciary and Trustee Educational Seminars and their annual conference is in May from May 16th to 20th. I rapidly went through that. We share all the information about these conferences. The best person to know about how to access these conferences and how to register is Karen. So, you know, we regularly distribute emails about these opportunities and we will continue to do so. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or call Karen. And recall that the system will pay all expenses related to attendance of these conferences and pick up the cost of conference. And, you know, we want to make available to you all education resources that you need to make decisions about your $10 billion fiduciary responsibility. And that's enough for me, Karen. Corinne. Sorry.
Sandy, I got one question.
Yes, Mr. Dorso.
Just a simple one. On the DFS, I know we have to sign that we're in receipt of it. In the event, for some reason, snow or something else, we don't have a December meeting, can we do it electronically just to make sure? I thought we had to do it by the end of the year, but if there's no timeline, then forget my question. But,
There is no time.
oh, okay, then I withdraw the question.
And it's not an institutional receipt, it's an individual trustee.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
that's why I was just wondering how you want.
We acknowledge receipt of it as an institution.
It's not just receipt, it's that you read it as well.
Yes, yeah.
Noted.
Mr. Giordano.
Standing on the same subject, just, and we'll be hearing from the city actuary, I think later on. But the city actuary had some issues with the DFS report, just from an actuarial standpoint, that was brought to our attention during the executive committee meeting. So for all the new members, just maybe offline or something, we could have a discussion about that. But the actuary had issues with some of the actuarial assumptions that were made in the DFS report. Significant issues with their process and their understanding of how he does his work here in the city. And so just want to bring that up since the actuary is actually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Tony.